In this video, we're going to talk about this radio. This is the TIDRADIO, TIDRADIO TD-H8. There's been a lot of videos put out on this radio, and we're going to take a look at it, just see what we get. This radio was not provided to me. I purchased this radio with my own money, so no reason to worry about that. So let's get into it and see what it says. We'll start off by doing let's do a quick receiver sensitivity check. I've got the manual here, and I'll put a link to this, or not a link, but a capture of this up on the screen so that you can see it. But basically, according to the manual down here, manufacturer says that the receive sensitivity should be 0.25 microvolts for 12 dB SINAD. So let's bring up our SINAD software and our TinySA, and we'll get our TinySA into signal generator mode, and we will check this on a frequency of 146.5 megahertz. And according to our calculator here, 0.25 microvolts gives us negative 119 dBm. So if we start right off with 119 negative dBm on our signal generation, we're going to do FM modulation at 1000 hertz frequency with a FM deviation of 3 kilohertz. Pretty much the standard defaults there. So now what we need to do is we need to prepare the radio. So the TinySA is a phenomenal little piece of equipment, but some of the research that's been done on it says that it is not as accurate when it gets down into really low signal strength. So what we're going to do is here on the TinySA, we're going to go to the external gain, and I'm going to use a 40 dB attenuator in line with the TinySA. So we're going to put in 40 negative dB. So now up, you see the level actually added that negative 40 into our signal. So let's go back and reset that to a negative 119 dB. And then now we will put the attenuator on the radio, and then we are going to hook up the TinySA into the radio, and then we are going to power the radio on. We're going to turn on the signal generator, and now what we see is with a signal at a negative 119 dBm, which corresponds to that 0.25 microvolts, that the radio is actually already open the squelch. We're getting a SINAD of actually about up around 20 already. All right, so now what we will do is we will lower our signal that we are transmitting into the receiver of this radio. Let's drop it down by 1 dB at a time. So now we are down to minus 120 dB. We're still coming down here. As you can see, we're lowering, the SINAD's getting lower. We're still getting 14, about 14 average. Let's try one more. All right, that's pretty much right around there, right around 12. Let's just see if we go one more. Yeah, so I think that's a little bit too far. We're not quite getting the 12 dB SINAD there, so we'll come back up 1 dB. I pretty much call that good. That's we're hovering right around the 12 dB SINAD. We're at minus 123, so we'll go ahead and turn off the signal generator, and then we'll use our handy dandy calculator here. Minus 123 dB is actually 0.158 microvolts. So round that to 0.16 microvolts. So the receiver on this radio is pretty darn sensitive. It definitely is well within the specs of what the manufacturer claims at 0.25 microvolts. So I'd say that that's a pretty good sign. Receive sensitivity on this, at least on the 2-meter band, seems to be pretty good. What we could do next is try the receive sensitivity up in the UHF portion. So we will do basically everything the same. We are going to change our radio frequency. We'll go to 443. We will now change our transmit frequency on our signal generator to 443 megahertz. So we're at 443 megahertz on the signal generator, still using the same 1000 hertz tone FM modulation. I am going to set this back to 119 to start with, and then we will go ahead and turn on our signal generator again. Okay, so now on the radio, I don't know, try to hold all this up here. We can see we are at 443 megahertz, and the signal generator is at minus 119 dB. So we're going to go through the same process again here, and we are going to keep lowering by 1 dB at a time. I think we're still above 12 there. We're going to hit it again. All right, I think that that's a pretty good average there at 12. We're still a little bit above, but we're hitting the 12. So on the UHF side, we are at minus 124 dBm. So actually that's a little bit better yet. That gives us 0.14 microvolts. So well within what the manufacturer claims for receiver sensitivity. Actually pretty impressive. So that's a positive for this radio. So I think what we will do now is we will move over to the bench, and we'll start taking a look at some other aspects of the radio, namely spectral purity, and we'll see how that looks. All right, I'll catch you over at the bench. Okay, here we are over at the bench. What we have here is 50 dB worth of attenuation. We have a 40 dB attenuator and a 10 dB attenuator. And actually, I'm going to swap these around so we go through the 40 dB first, then through the 10. All right, so now I'll put a little graphic up here real quick on the screen to show you where I tested the attenuation with the tracking generator. And it looks like on 2 meters, we're at about 51 dB of attenuation. And up in the 70 centimeter band, we're at about 51.5 dB attenuation. And that's accounting for the leads and the attenuators. So let's start off by putting the attenuator here onto the radio. See where we're at here. Okay, let's get us down to 1, 4, 6. And our power is. Start off with low power. All right, so let's get this set up here. Need to switch ends on my cable. way. Okay. All right. Should be good to go now. We're on low power. We can start off here on this screen and just sort of see if we get see what we get for a signal here. Currently looking at between 100 megahertz to 500 megahertz, and there you'll see an initial. Gives you kind of an idea of what we're looking at for signal. We got some other harmonics up there, so let's switch over to our harmonic measurement. Let's first put in our reference offset here for our attenuation. And as you'll see in there, I also have our reference line. Reset our display line here to 0.02 minus dBm. Now that is the criteria. I will also put a little blurb up here for Part 97 requirements that all the harmonics need to be, after the first harmonic, all the harmonics need to be 40 dB down from the carrier, and those harmonics also need to fall below minus 16.02 dBm or 25 microwatts. So what we can do here is we can also change our readout so that it is in watts for those of you that would like to see what this looks like in watts as well. So now you can see that our line converted over to the 25 microwatt line, same as minus 16.02 dBm. So let's go to measure and harmonics, and we are going to go to 146.5 hertz. And I'm not going to go past the fourth harmonic. We don't really need to go out any further than that. So what we'll see here now is on low power. Let's see what we've got. Okay, so here we're looking at, on low power on this radio, we're looking at 2.6 watts on low power. Our first harmonic, is 2.6 watts. Our second harmonic is down minus 42, almost 43 dB from the first. So that actually does fit in that first criteria. Our third harmonic is also down minus 47 dB. But if you can obviously see right here on the display, both of those harmonics are above the 25 microwatt line. So it's a fail. The harmonics on this radio do not pass. Let's just see what we're looking at on medium power. So we will go in here. We'll try medium power. All right, on medium power, we're looking at about 4.3 watts out. Now, on medium power, interestingly enough, our second and third harmonics have now dropped down to minus 50 and minus 51 dB C from, so that's dB from the carrier. So those are all within spec, but ever so close to being below that 25 microwatt line. Very, very, very close. Sure would be nice to just be just a tad lower, but I still classify, even if you gave it a pass on that third harmonic, the second harmonic is still above the 25 microwatt line. And as one of my other favorite YouTubers says, that it's a binary equation. You either pass or you fail. So I would say this is a fail. So let's look at high power. And at high power, we're putting out basically 10, almost 11 watts out of this radio, which is very impressive. I was not expecting this radio to put out 10 watts, to be totally honest. I really thought that it was, we've tested many other radios that just don't live up to the higher power output but this one does. And as you can see here, I think as I key longer, the power is going down. But real quick, you look at the harmonics. We've got our second harmonic minus 48 dB down from the carrier, but still significantly above that 25 microwatt line. Our third harmonic here is below the 25 microwatts, which is great. But unfortunately, you know, we're looking at another fail here. So fail on low, medium, and high power settings. So what we'll do now is we will switch over and we'll look at the 70 centimeter side of the radio, just to take a look. There's some gray area as to whether or not the same criteria holds in the UHF portion. If you look at that part 97, it only specifies, it doesn't specify up into the 70 centimeter band, but I think it's good to take a look there as well. We'll put in 443 megahertz, and that's what we're on. Let's take a look at our power setting. All right, we're going to go low power here, 443, and okay, so on low power, we're getting about 2.6 watts out. And our second harmonic is significantly above the 25 microwatt line. Our third harmonic is down 61 dBc and below 25 microwatts, but that second one fails on both criteria. It is not 40 dB down from the carrier or the primary, and it is also not below 25 microwatts if you want to apply those same regulations. So we will pop up to medium power, and we got now about 4.5 watts out. Second harmonic getting closer to the 40 dB down from the carrier. Fundamental, but also above 25 microwatts. Our third harmonic is down plenty, but that second harmonic obviously still much too high. And finally, go for high power. 7.5 watts out on UHF. Still very, very acceptable. I am very happy and pleased with that power out on this radio. Our second harmonic does now fall 44 dB down from the fundamental, but is still above the 25 microwatt line. And our third and fourth harmonics are both acceptable. But the second harmonic here on UHF is still too high in all three of these criteria on low, medium, and high power. So with that, we'll head back over to the desk and just kind of do a final wrap-up. Okay, so unfortunately, the spectral purity isn't quite what we would want out of this radio. It's really almost the only downfall for me on this radio. The radio feels, I feel like it feels solid in my hands. I guess I have a little bit larger hands than maybe average, but I like the feel of this radio. It feels solid. There's been some other reviews that have talked about getting a bite off of these contacts on the back of the battery during transmission. I have tried with both batteries, I've tried everything that I can think of to try to cause that. Transmitting on high power, holding those contacts up against my hands, trying to get that, and I cannot replicate that issue. This radio is, I've been trying to put this video out for probably over a month, so this isn't a brand new radio. I've had it for a bit, so I was kind of surprised that I did not have those issues that were described in some of the other videos. Another issue I didn't have was the odd transmission audio feedback sound that was coming through the speaker during transmission. I did not have that happen to me. I could not recreate that. So the radio, and I mean, obviously this, I'm not doing a full-on review of every aspect and detail and feature of this radio, just kind of the overview of just the radio itself, as far as its performance and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of features in this radio that are kind of neat, being able to program it over Bluetooth and some of those other features. I'll just sort of summarize too. The battery, the kit that I got came with two of these batteries. Both of these batteries, I would classify them as they easily fall within specifications. The batteries are listed as 2500 milliamp hour batteries. And I'll move over here a little bit here so I can put up a graphic here that has the summary of the battery tests that were done. All the tests were done with two different pieces of test equipment. I use the West Mountain Radio, basically the computer battery analyzer. I've had this for a while. This is the version 4. This generally gives excellent data on all the batteries that I've tested, so I consider this to be very accurate. The other piece of equipment, just to try to have another set of data points, is I use the A-Torch DL24P, and you can see in the graphic the results from both the West Mountain Radio and the A-Torch unit. So as you can see from the graph, both of these batteries ended up, battery 1 is actually over the specification with 2560 milliamp hours, or 18.5 watt hours, and the second battery was 2412 milliamp hours, or 17.3 watt hours. Even though the second battery fell a little bit short, I would consider that to probably be within a margin of error on that battery. The batteries were charged fully with the USB-C connection on the battery, which I have to say, I don't know if you can see that, having the USB-C right on the battery, I think is a great feature, because you can just take the battery off, throw it on a USB cord, and forget about it, let it charge, and then the light will change color to let you know that it's done, and you're good to go. So as far as batteries are concerned, like I say, very happy with the batteries that came with the kit. I can't say that for a lot of the radios that I have tested. There'll be some more videos coming of some other radios that have been kind of popular recently. Most of those radios have batteries that all fail the rating test. Real quick to summarize again, the secondary test using the A-Torch unit, you can see that battery 1 also hit 2549 milliamp hours, and battery 2 at 2420 milliamp hours. Very, very close in performance by running on the two different battery tests. So all that said, I do like this radio. I just wish that the spectral purity, it's so close. I wish they would just put a little bit more effort into that. It's one of those, it's a hard situation, because consciously I can't use this radio on the amateur bands knowing that it's not spectrally pure. We're a self-policing hobby, and if we use these radios on our amateur bands, even though they fail the specifications or the requirements of the FCC, we're not doing anybody any favors. So if we can get more people to have these manufacturers, hold them to hitting these standards and making these radios legal to use in the amateur bands, everybody's better off. All that being said, this radio is so close. I wish that it was just a little bit better, and I would be using it. See you in the next one.